All right, welcome to the inaugural episode of the Bird Brain podcast presented by Two Birds. All right, we have our Red Bulls here. This is going to be the inaugural Red Bull crack. You know, not sponsored by Red Bull, but if Red Bull, you're watching this and you want to sponsor us, go ahead. Ready?
Yeah.
We crack it in 3? My God.
My God. I was ready.
It's the first time. It's the first time. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, that's so good. That's so good.
Oh my God, mine cracked so terribly.
Yeah.
There's no way.
Bro, look
Okay,
at that.
Yeah, I see it.
Look at that
You
shit.
said on 3.
Mike, are you ready?
Oh, how's everybody doing today?
Pretty
I
good.
just
Very
stuck
good.
my finger in some Red Bull, so pretty good.
That's the way to do it.
That's the way.
That's the way to crack open the Red Bull.
Very true.
Yeah. Dude, the one thing that I really like hate is whenever you like crack open a soda and your soda tap falls in.
Oh God, that's terrible. Mine's about to. I probably shouldn't mess with it anymore, but
Stop
Yeah.
messing with it then.
The more you mess with it, the more you have a chance of it just falling in.
listen, I'm a fidgety person. He thinks to mess with. That's
Wow.
why I wear
Yeah.
all this.
When I was little, I sliced my
super
finger
basic.
on one of these.
You slip.
Yeah, we did a lot of dumb
Yeah.
things when we were little, but like now that we're adults, it's really fucking hard to actually
I
like
still do the
adults. You know
same
what I
shit.
mean?
Yeah.
Because when you were little, like I don't know, I remember having I remember having like almost everything just like handed to me in a sense. I never really did anything like autonomously as a kid. What about you guys?
Look at this fucking privileged kid over here. Everything was handed to.
I mean, I wasn't like like I had chores and stuff that I had to do, but like compared to like some of the stuff that I have to do now, like dude, it's
I
not
mean,
even like close.
I feel like that's just kind of
Yeah.
how it is, though. As as children, we're not really like we're not like independent in a sense. Like we're reliant on our parents because we're kids. So I think it's kind of normal. I feel like if you have some sort of reliance on your parents and have like things given to you at a young age.
And like one of the main things is like my parents were like there's a lot of times. What's that clicking noise? Yeah, please don't do that. But there's like some points where like I remember I would ask for things from my parents and they'd hesitate a little bit, but usually they'd say yes. Like my parents were like super good about like if I wanted something, right, and it was like reasonable, they'd give it to me in a sense, right? Like whether it's at the grocery store and like snacks and stuff like that. My parents would, you know, like if I want a specific cereal that wasn't on sale or whatever, they'd be like, yeah, okay, if you really want it, buy it, but you had to eat it, right?
Yeah.
My mom once put up a toothbrush for Easter.
What?
As a Easter, did your parents ever? Oh,
My-
I guess yeah. So like,
No.
it, like
I
yeah,
never
I get
celebrated
what you're
Easter.
saying. With like
Mom-
you got the basket and there's a toothbrush in the
My
basket.
parents didn't just like up and buy me. No, it was
Yeah.
like, I asked for a toothbrush because mine was old, and mom was like,
What a G.
it was
dude.
a week from Easter. She's like, Easter present.
Oh my God.
That's a legendary Easter present. For the longest time.
Yeah, clean teeth.
Yeah. For the longest time, my
It's
grandparents.
a when you go to church, you get a
Jesus was proud.
Jesus was proud of my
Jesus was
smile.
proud. Pearly whites for Jesus.
They already are.
Yes, sir.
Oh my God.
But like for like several years, every time my dad's parents came into town, they'd bring us stuff, and 9 times out of 10, it was rocks and toothpaste.
Were they like?
Oh, an avocado. Thanks.
That's basically how it was with the toothpaste.
Micah got me an avocado one time.
I did get you an avocado.
So
and
I would say that.
You love that avocado.
Yeah, but we didn't eat that. We ate the potato.
We.
Was that the band competition?
Yeah.
Oh, where everyone was taking a bite. That was the most unsanitary thing.
When
that
we
was
washed it off
possible.
with water in between.
Wait, you
So gross.
did you take a bite of the potato? Were you part of potato gang?
I was like the first one to take a bite.
Or I was part of potato gang.
Respect.
I was
Yeah.
there. Like we was all. It was, It was our
See,
bus.
once people started taking bites out of the other bites, that's when I got like.
Yeah, okay,
messy.
so-
Yeah, I
for-
took a clean bite out of that.
Well,
bad
explain
boy.
this. Explain this so the people who are watching the podcast like actually understand. Basically, like the way it works, like in band, everybody gets like a gift before competition, like snacks and stuff that they can eat on the way to the competition. Yeah, I know we all hate band. Like we have PTSD, except for this one. But
drinks are.
but You got him a potato.
No, I
it
got
was,
him an avocado.
Oh.
No, it was the potato was mine.
Oh, word.
I think, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Nathan. It was Nathan and I. We got each other potatoes.
I get my
So there were
peaches
two
down in
potatoes, I
Georgia.
think. And then there might have been one. Was there one or there was two?
I don't know, but
Sure
basically
it's you.
everyone passed around the potatoes. Everyone passed around the potato. We all took a bite out of it, and it was like this like weird ceremony thing that everybody did.
No, it started as a joke because I dared Nathan to take a bite out of it just like because it's
It was just straight raw potato, like not even.
skin on and everything. Like I told him take a bite of the potato, like you won't. There was some like
It was
whatever.
like a red
but
potato where you can't eat the skin. No, it was like a normal.
It was a russet. It
normal-ass
was a russet potato, like baked
Did you
potato.
say that we're under the philosophy tab on Twitch?
Absolutely,
We're
this is
talking about a
philosophical
potato.
conversation, dude.
This is philosophical, dude.
No, but I dared him to take a bite out of it, and then
Falafel.
someone else saw it and was like, "Yo, I'll take a bite for nothing. Like not even a dare. I'll just take a bite." It was probably John Brinko, honestly. But
Doxing him.
but
Bro, I like it.
You like
so
the
then
attention.
then other people just started taking bites. It was mainly the guys that started it first because we're all dumb.
Yeah, I
but,
think I was like around the 6th person or something like that.
Yeah,
I was like the
at-
7th or 8th.
Yeah, we were all
so-
like there together.
But like everyone just started taking bites out of it, and then we were like, people were like, "Why are you taking bites out of it?" And we go, and like none of us really knew, and so someone just said, "Oh, it's for good luck." And at that
And
point,
then everyone wanted to do it. Like all the guys, none of the girls did. Some of the girls did it.
some of the girls, all the younger ones did.
Yeah, but like
They wanted to be
all the like all the underclassmen wanted to do it, right? And it was just like at that point it got really freaking weird. Then was it Turner was still in the band at this point, or was this?
No,
no,
was
this was
A-Bear.
A-Bear.
Yeah,
Was it?
he.
I don't know. Oh, it was. Yeah.
Eventually, it got down to him, and he was just trying to track down where this potato was. So we were doing it under the cup. Like, remember we were hiding the potato.
yeah.
Like, he was looking. He was tracking the potato. Like, who was the last person to bite the potato? Who would you give it to? Who'd you give it to? Like, he was trying to track the potato. Like CSI, like forensic it.
It was literally like black market potato deals.
Are you telling me he was going up to people like, did
Yeah,
you
he was.
eat the
He
potato?
was. Yeah, he was.
Did you eat the potato? Who ate it after you? Who ate it after you? Like, he was trying to. He was trying to like. You know, like when they track.
He's
some point-
contact tracing the potato.
Like
some
how they
point-
contract tracing for the pandemic. Like who'd you touch? It was that, but with the potato. That was COVID before COVID.
A-Bear could have handled COVID.
No.
Potato model.
At some point, the potato went in someone's bibbers to hide it.
Bibbers are like the overalls that you wear, by the way.
Yeah, it's the pants that come up and it's like overalls.
It made its way into someone's bibber's pocket at one point, and then like
That's disgusting.
And then it came back out, and people started biting again.
That's disgusting.
It was bad.
It got out of hand.
Yeah, it got out of hand really quickly. At the end, if anyone, because you know what happened to the potato, right?
Did we put it in someone's sousaphone?
No. What?
I think we did. I think it went in my
Oh,
sousaphone.
it did.
John put it in my sousaphone.
Oh,
I
it
think.
did.
Sousaphone.
Oh, it did.
Yeah.
Sousaphone's the big old tubo that wraps around you.
Wow. Yeah.
The one
No.
that
So
Larry
at
used.
the,
That potato's seen some shit.
at the end of the competition,
The war stories from
Nathan
that
and I just threw out the window of the bus.
It's like the middle of the competition. He just like blows a really loud note. Potato.
No, but we were on the drive back home, and we like.
I remember that.
Do you remember
'cause I was
kids
sitting-
from other bands were wanting to take bites of the
Oh
potato
my
as well?
god! Yes.
It became an issue.
It would become an issue
shit.
really quick. Like it started off really like fun and like stupid, and then there was no room to take a clean bite on the potato. You remember that?
Yeah.
I remember the first person that took the bite in someone else's bite was probably Ryan. Honestly,
Why was it that
Tall
everything
Ryan.
we did escalated
I think that was.
so
I think
quickly?
it was him.
That's
Honestly,
just the nature of like band.
That's band.
That's the
Yeah.
nature of like. It's the
Band
nature of
kids
like.
are wild in.
Band
It's
kids are
because like everybody's
crazy,
freaking.
dude.
That time in band camp.
Everybody's like super socially awkward. Like there's no like. There's some kids in band who actually know how to like properly socialize at the time, but like most of us just had no idea what we were doing. We just wanted to do what everyone else is doing.
Then there's some kids that are just randomly having sex in the corner of the hallway.
Yeah, and then there like when you look at like underclassmen, right? Like I remember coming in as an underclassman when I first came in. Like, I was so desperate for
Hey, Josh, how's it
upperclassmen
going?
approval in the band. Wait, what are you guys talking about?
It wasn't Josh.
No, stop that.
There's like normal, semi-normal band kids which are still pretty weird, and there's like weird band kids who are pretty weird.
We're like the normal.
We're like
You were not normal in high school.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, but you were not classified as a normal kid in high school.
that's a fact.
For like
that's
the 2
true.
days, 2 days a month you showed up, you were not classified as a normal day. in high
Hey,
school.
true, that's true.
hey,
Normal guy.
I was going through some
He
shit.
played Switch in the hallway.
I did play Switch.
I mean
and
that everyone
was
did.
fun.
That's gone. Like I stopped going down to the band hall. I think my senior year. I probably showed up like 3 times a month. Like, cause it was just weird, dude. Like the younger kids.
Yeah,
But we were just as weird when we were freshmen. And that's the thing. Like every year, you look at the class below you, and it's like, holy shit, these kids are dumb. yo, we were just as dumb. They thought the exact same thing to us. Either we're all getting dumber, or like it's just how we look at like younger, like generations in a sense.
Yeah.
It's honestly probably it's how you look at people that are younger than you all the time. Unless like they're actually like more mature than you, even if they're like the same level of maturity or less, you just
That's how
automatically
Colin
classify
looks
them
at
as
me.
dumb.
I mean, like, do you think that's like wisdom though? Do you think you actually get wiser from freshman to?
I think you
In a
mature a
sense-
lot.
In a sense, you kind of do. I
Not
think.
necessarily wiser, but definitely you mature through that time. And then now I look back, I'm like, high schoolers are fucking stupid.
Each level,
Like
it
the
feels
senior?
like like I don't know. At least from freshman year to senior year, I thought I'd learned a lot, and then in 1 year of college, I think I got like
Oh no, that's
10
You
times
get your
more
ass
wiser
beat
than
in
between.
in college.
Dude,
my
I
first
don't-
semester
you
of
get work.
college. I think I've like I changed the most in my first semester of college. Like that 6-month period of time was like the most I ever changed. I think.
I think
Yeah.
that like first period of time is like one of the first times where I actually like I think I took school seriously, because like all throughout high school like I
You just
didn't-
coasted.
yeah, like I didn't do the work that I needed to do. Like I got like solid like 80s on all the tests, and I didn't do the homework, resulting in like 60s, 70s for my grades. But like it was passing.
Yeah.
Like I'm surprised USC accepted me. Not gonna lie.
But
Go on,
Jahir.
bro.
Yeah, I am. But dude, like I don't know, like when that like first year of like COVID hit, where like you had no other choice, like there's nowhere you could go. Like you could go, right? You could go to parties and stuff like that, but
Yeah, but like that's not smart.
that's not smart. But like I legitimately had nothing to do other than, yo, I've got like 3 hours worth of homework to do. I can either sit on my ass, stare at the ceiling, watch YouTube videos, or I could actually do work. And like I don't know why, but for some reason I found like the super like satisfaction of like actually like, getting shit done.
Yeah, you get a dopamine boost whenever you complete something.
Yeah, like while you're doing it, it sucks. Like I'm
Yeah,
not
But
gonna
once
lie.
you're done, you feel so relieved.
it's not once you're done. It's when you see progress.
I was
Right.
gonna say calculus does not give you that dopamine boost and you give it done.
I mean, it's
Well,
it's
you're
like
ass at calculus, so it makes sense.
I just always made a list, and like just checking things off the list, I think gave the
Yeah, that-
dopamine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like it's not. I don't think getting it done gives you dopamine. I think it's like seeing progress, right? Like I'm one of those people that's like, okay, I'm just about halfway done. I'm just over halfway done, right? And like that motivates me to get it done.
Yeah, you gotta set mini goals for yourself.
And
So
like, yeah, and like
keeps
the
you
older
going.
I get, the more I realize that like, ayo, like holy shit, goals are important. Because I remember like in elementary school and like middle school, right? Oh, set SMART goals, right? Like I thought that was the stupidest thing in the world.
Same.
I vaguely remember that.
No, even in high
But-
school they said set goals, and I was like,
Yeah, they're like, where do you see yourself from 5 years from now?
Yeah,
Like
and one of
those
the things
basic
one of the
questions.
things that I think was super wrong in that curriculum is they taught you result oriented goals, right? Like your goal was like a goal that they said we could set, I'm gonna get all A's this semester, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, that's great. But that's a result oriented goal, right? Like that goal is
you can
worthless.
work your ass off and still not
Right.
achieve that.
So what a goal you should be is, I want to study 2 hours every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's a process-oriented goal. I think process-oriented goals are more effective. Like the older you get, as you start to realize and like value process over like result. Because when you're a kid, you have super like huge ambitions, right? Like I want to do this, I want to do that, and like everything's goal, everything's like it's results. Like it's you're a big thinker, but the older you get, the more process-oriented you have to think.
yeah.
Yeah, and the biggest thing with goal setting is you want to, at least from personal experience, you want to set goals that nobody else can infringe on. Like it's all you.
Yeah,
working
stuff that you
towards
control,
goal.
right?
Yeah.
You control the process, not the result.
Yeah.
The result is a byproduct of the process.
So doing that will also help you stay in a better mental state and get towards those end results that you were seeking as well.
Biggest thing too, you mentioned studying. I thought about that too. Like I didn't know how to study at all in high
Yeah,
school.
I just-
That's
That
what,
was the
studying in high
biggest
school.
reality
that's
check
what
for me.
broke me in college. I don't know if I told you.
That-
I failed my first test in college, and it freaked me out because I just didn't know how to study.
I honestly still don't really study. That's a problem.
No one
but,
can
like,
teach you. You have to figure out
yeah.
like what works for you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
there's
it's
like-
different for everybody.
There's a lot of methods, right, of like how to study. There's like active recall. There's mainly active recall. Active recall is probably, you know what active recall is? Active recall is, let me remember. Active recall is basically you progressively test yourself as you're learning the content, rather than like reading a whole paragraph and then, or reading the whole, reading the whole textbook chapter, and then taking notes on it and then reviewing your notes. Instead, you read a page, you quiz yourself on that page without looking at it.
Yeah,
and
I
then
can't
you do that
read
like routinely.
Notes. Reading notes does nothing.
Yeah,
if it's math, I can make myself practice problems. That helps.
Yeah, and that's active recall, right? You're testing yourself along the way.
Yeah. I mean, I always study night before. That's just,
Yeah.
that's- If I study before, I'll forget it.
I remember
So
hearing my
have to know.
professors during like the first thing we were going over, so it was like almost all my professors said you need to dedicate at least 4 hours a week to studying, right? I'm like, oh, okay, that's not that bad, right? And then it's 4 hours a week for this class, 4 hours a week for this class, 4 hours a week for this class, 4 hours a week for this class. Like 5 classes, 4 hours a week. Like 20 hours a week of just studying? No, thank you. I'm not doing that.
Yeah.
Like I physically cannot do that. Like I will become so demotivated and like just I'll be so, what's the word? Like off put.
Yeah.
That's
by
basically a
school.
day a week just dedicated to studying.
Yeah. Like I can't
You-
do that.
That's so taxing on you. And like, yeah, that might work for some people, but for the vast majority of us, I think you need to evaluate like, I'm better at these subjects, I'm worse at these ones. And it's all about time management, like, and working out your study habits
And that,
with those.
that goes for like everything as well. Like just figuring out like where your like time is most efficient, right? Because again, going back to this whole like motif that we've been kind of talking about, like the older you get, like it feels like you have less and less time because you spend more time because the stuff gets more complex. Like for me, one of the most difficult things like is getting like the activation energy to actually do something. Like I know what I have to do, but the issue is sitting down, getting the stuff ready to do it, and actually starting it. Like I remember when I was like in college, first semester, I would say, okay, I have an exam tomorrow. I'm going to study, right? Well, you know, I got to make sure that I have my desk clean. My room's not clean. It's going to bother me while I'm studying. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to clean my entire room, right? Oh, I don't have any food. Let me go get some food so I can sit down and just eat while I'm studying, right? Oh, my water's not full. Let me do that. Oh, my pencils aren't sharp now. I did everything else but start studying because I was just putting it off and off and off and off and off. But the second I got started, you know, I'm in there for 4 hours just studying.
Yeah, it's that first step to like actually sit down and like buckle down and be like, okay, now I'm actually getting on this. And once you start, it's easier to get through, but it's like actually having the mental capacity, not like capacity, but like fortitude to be like, I'm doing this. Because it's so easy to push stuff off, like especially today, like our phones are, there's so many things on it. You can get distracted left, right, and center. Or you've got like a roommate or friends you want to hang out with or something else. And it's like you have all these other distractions, but like to be like, no, I'm using this time for
And
studying.
I think
schoolwork.
that's also like that's one thing that's also like really prevalent, I think, in like playing to improve like video games. Like you want to just play for fun, but a lot of times you also want to get better at the game. But I really don't think that those two things are like cross compatible in a sense. I think that you can play a game for fun, but you're going to plateau. I think you really have to focus on actually playing the game to get better. And the issue is like it's a lot of activation energy to pull up a VOD and then look at the VOD and admit that you're dog shit.
Yeah.
Like that, like it's a lot of energy to get started. But the second you open that VOD and you start looking through it, like you start pointing out shit, you point out more and more and more and more. And you look through 2-3 VODs at a time. Like I've done that, right?
Yeah,
I remember
need to do that.
whenever I was starting like playing Overwatch on a team, that's kind of the thing that I struggled with most because like I had never really like done VOD reviews for myself, or like I just never had done VOD reviews. I would always just play and grind, and I plateaued mid gold. I stayed there for like 10 seasons.
Like 6. Oh, no, it's 10 seasons.
No, it was like 10
It was 10
seasons.
seasons.
Yeah,
It was 11 seasons.
Probably,
Season
yeah.
16, yeah, it was 11 seasons.
But yeah, as soon as I joined the team, like literally the season I joined the team, I climbed I think 400 to 600 SR, and a lot of that was like 6 stacking with the team. But I like genuinely got better, and like I learned how to like be better and play better, and it all kind of
it's like-
started with having a coach and like reviewing and talking about like my gameplay.
It's not even like a coach. I think it's like you have to get in the mindset of what you're actually doing rather than like there's like a lot of people that can like coast, right? But for the most part, when you're doing something as active as like studying or trying to improve at a game and like practicing, like improving at a game is practicing. To some sense, it's studying, right? Because you're studying macro, you're studying all these different things. Especially in a game like Overwatch, League of Legends, right? You have to get yourself in the mindset to intentionally like want to get better, not just study for the sake of playing, grind for the sake of grinding. Like I think mindset is such a huge thing that's overlooked.
Yeah, I mean, look at professional sports teams. Every like halftime, what do? They'll go back in. They'll watch the first half of the game, review what they did wrong, see how they can improve.
I mean, I think there's a little bit. I think there's a
little
little bit of an incentive there because there's like a financial incentive, and there's also like if you
Pro League too, there's a financial incentive there as well.
yeah, and like if you don't win, right? Like if you don't win, then oh well, the rookie comes in and takes your spot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? Like if you underperform, like you have to be motivated to improve, and like that's a concept of like they are in the mindset, oh, I got to improve or I'm losing my livelihood.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of things, like a lot of people don't have that urgency, but like they blame a lot of things like, oh, I can't climb. Oh, I can't rank up. You know, and like they never like actually sat down and put in the time. Like you're going to plateau, but you have to intentionally put in the time and be in the right mindset to improve.
Everyone has the capability to get to like the highest elo in any game, but you have to have that
I'm being a little
drive.
passive aggressive. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, you hate me for it, dude. Oh my
He's like
God.
plateaued, high plat. He's like he's complaining. Well, he's not anymore because he gave up on the game. But
I didn't give up the game. I just found a game I enjoy more.
but he plateaued like high plat and in Overwatch. He's like 30 or 40 SR off of diamond, just never could hit it.
Yeah, I think 28 SR off diamond was the closest I ever got. I was one game off, and
Yeah, but you just have to be in the right mindset, and like mindset is something that, like I said, a lot of people just overlook because getting in the right mindset is hard. Like it's hard.
Yeah.
And wait, do you guys? This is a little bit off topic, but it's a thing in like mindset. Do you guys believe in flow states?
You want to
What
elaborate
is
on
it?
that?
Like where, like you just get into a natural rhythm and like everything's just clicking and like firing on. So like it's something that's talked about in like esports a little bit, and like also like I assume it applied to like studying and stuff. Where like you're subconsciously like focused in and you're doing like and everything's like working.
yes.
That's the only way I can write papers.
Yeah.
Yeah, I 100% believe in flow state.
Yeah,
Just like
for sure.
Especially outside of esports, honestly, it's like if I'm not like I can be actively thinking about like studying my like homework or doing my homework, but if I'm not in the right mindset to do my homework, or like if my subconscious is thinking of something else, or like I have a conflicting thought, I will not focus on my homework. I can't. I legitimately can't. So I have to be like in the full 100% like correct
My thing is with
mindset.
flow states, right? Like I get the flow states and like holy shit, the dopamine is firing in like my flow state. But the issue is the second I'm in a flow state and then somebody even like says my name, right? Like if I'm in comms or anything like that, somebody says my name out.
Yep.
Like the second something's off topic or like there's a noise or something like that, I just fly out of it and I can't get back into it. Until like after the game is over, I have to reset and I have to like try and get back into it.
When like it doesn't happen in everything for everybody. Like I know, like I've never had that in a video game because I'm not good at video games.
Yeah.
And it's, I mean, I enjoy playing them, but it's not like my passion or anything. But yeah, it's funny the stuff like it. You don't even have to be passionate about it because yeah, like you talked about, I've written. Like,
I hate writing.
I've written
papers.
like pages of papers before and finished and be like, I don't even really remember what I just wrote.
Yeah,
it
like
just
I did
kinda
that with my
happened.
research paper, right? Like I had a 10-page research paper due as my final exam for English. I was talking to Josh the entire time. Like we'd play video games. Josh was like, I was like, hey Josh, you want to play video games? Like, have you done your paper? It's like, no, it's just not going to write. Like I'm not going to write it right now. Like I just can't, right? Josh is like, write your paper. I legitimately can't. So either we play video games or I stare at the ceiling for 4 hours. Right? Like that paper's not getting written today. And then like the day before, I knocked out 8 pages worth of writing. I got like a 98 on the paper.
Yeah, that's how I do it too. Literally, for my English final last semester, I had like a 15-page paper. Wrote it the night before. Literally finished it, I think, like 12 minutes before the deadline.
I remember.
I got a 98. Yeah, I was
That's the
talking
thing with
to you.
like,
Yeah,
it's
you
like
talked
I know,
about it.
I know you are because we talked about this before, but like I'm a chronic like procrastinator. Like
Oh, yeah.
I do my
Heavy.
best when like the pressure is on, but like I get into like a flow state when the pressure is on. And it's the same thing with like
That's when I
my
perform the
like
best.
like high school. I'm gonna say it's the 3 dreaded letters like SATs. Like when there's no distractions in the room, right? Nothing's happening. Like the room's like pin drop silent. I get into the flow state and I can knock out like a reasonably like good score, at least in one of the sections.
See, for me, I'm actually the opposite when it comes to standardized testing. I still perform decently well because I can get into that state. But because you're sitting in a room with what, like 50 to 100 of your peers, I get so distracted by every little shuffle, every little movement. And so, like, my brain starts wandering. I start getting anxious, like what's going on here. The time constraints. I hate time constraints. I always
I love
perform
them.
within them, but like I understand deadlines, but like taking a test in this allotted time.
So for me, one of the things that I started doing, right, is that I realized I actually kind of love time constraints. Like if I were to pull up my calendar right now, right, I can't because my phone's being used as a camera. But if I pull up my camera right now or my calendar right now, you can see that like my daily schedule is blocked in Google Calendar. Like within like, hey yo, I'm gonna be working on Two Bird stuff here. I have a study block here, right? And it's like you have 2.5 hours to complete this, 2.5 hours to complete this. You have 2 hours to complete this, and then in addition to that, I have flex time at the end of each day where if none of my stuff go over, I'm rewarded with some extra gaming time, right? If none of my stuff go over, if it does go over, I can eat into that flex time a little bit.
Yeah.
But because I realistically budget, okay, I need to get this amount of stuff done in this amount of hour. And if I'm efficient with it and I do it well, then I'm rewarded with some more gaming time at the end. Like one of the things is like I realized in the first semester of college as well is my time management is piss bad. Like it is so bad.
I feel that one.
Yeah.
But
That was one of
literally,
the-
I time blocked everything to like 10-minute intervals, and oh my goodness, it helped so much.
I should start doing that actually.
Yeah.
I
think
told
it's
you to start doing it.
I know.
with time constraints, I think it's different whenever it's personal time constraints, like what you're talking about, like blocking out your days. I think, like for me, that's beneficial. But I'm talking about like specific, like you show up this day, you have this amount of time, like everything's decided for you.
I mean, I treat it that way. Like I treat it like
I just
yo,
can't get in that mental
like,
headspace.
I treat it that way. To like you have to complete it in this time, and if you don't, then you're just not gonna have fun gaming today. And like that's I want a game. Like bitch, I want a game.
I'm going.
I want a game. So if I don't get what I need to get done in that time frame, I have to eat into it, and I don't want to do that. So it's like the stress is there. Like I want to get it done.
Yeah, it's interesting.
As of recently, that hasn't been happening.
It's interesting to hear because like you guys seem to be all the same way with like working under pressure and stuff. I'm like the exact opposite.
Oh, I'm so jealous of you.
If I have any pressure, I can't do anything. Like I don't know if you remember in high school with the trumpet auditions.
Mm-hmm.
Like I would go be like first chair in the school and then go get my ass kicked everywhere else because I would be in the room shaking because I got pressure on me. But that's the same with like procrastination. Like I'm not a stressful person. Like I don't really stress about stuff. But if I procrastinate,
about everything.
I feel like
Whoa.
the world is like weighing in on
Yeah.
me and I start freaking out. So I have to plan everything.
I
I'm a
honestly
control freak
feel-
about that stuff.
I usually just have a panic attack and let it out.
Hey, me too.
I honestly feel like
Had one this
And, like,
morning.
Dentist.
I honestly feel like auditions are. I feel like I put them in a different category than like procrastination time constraints in a way, because
You're good at auditions.
no, I'm not. What do you mean, dude?
Josh is just like he's really good at like working at things and like getting it good enough.
You're good at being consistent through them.
Yes.
Yeah, you're like consistently mediocre.
So true.
But that's better than being really good and then flopping like two out of four at auditions.
Yeah, because like when it came to band, like I was not like I did not practice at all.
Oh,
I did.
played too, but I didn't
I
really
didn't like,
practice. I
and
just kinda played
whenever
whole notes.
whenever auditions came around, I was like, I'm not gonna do it. I'm just not gonna like practice for it. And I went in there and like, even like I went in there. I was a nervous mess. I did terrible, and that's just because. And like I feel like even if I did practice well, because I did practice like middle school, right? In middle school, I
Yeah,
practiced,
yeah, I think we all
and then
did.
I still did bad during auditions because I got hella nervous, like extremely nervous, right?
I did.
And so in high school, I was just like, this isn't for me. Like I'm just not gonna practice. It's not worth my time. So I just didn't practice. And I feel like with auditions, it's there's even more pressure on you than procrastination time constraints, because with procrastination, you're kind of doing it to yourself. In a way, and then like at that point, you're like, I'm my own like worst enemy, like my own critic. So
Yeah,
like,
it's that like activation energy, right?
Yeah.
Like, you're pushing it off until you
Yeah.
you have to invest the energy to just start it, and then once you start it, it gets done.
yeah, but then with like auditions, it's someone else giving like that's judging you and putting it on you, and so that's I feel like makes auditions different than procrastination, and
Well, like
that's
for auditions, one of the major things is like it's super confidence based as well. It depends on like how much
Yeah.
work you put in. Like the more work I put in, the more confident I get, right? Like I remember auditioning for Band 3, right? You two were already in it, right? You were auditioning, but you were auditioning on tenor sax. They didn't have a tenor sax. You were guaranteed a spot basically as long as you could play a sound.
They,
And then I
They're like,
swapped to
here.
tuba that year, right? I swept a tuba that year, so I was auditioning on trombone and tuba for band 3. I was playing tuba for I think 3 weeks up until that point.
Yeah, you had just started.
Yeah, and then I had to do all 12 scales. Like, is it if you can't play all 12 scales, right? Then I just can't. Like, as like a tuba, you have to play all 12 scales, which is understandable because you.
It's 12 scales.
Like yeah. Basically, you know how we had to play it in like what under like 2.5 minutes?
It was like 2 minutes.
Yeah, I did it in 7 minutes because I couldn't like I didn't know the things. I knew what it was on trombone, right? Like I'd think, oh, you know, that position is going to be 1 and 2. That like I have to like I was just it was literally just like a second of silence between each note. Like I kid you not, right? Oh my goodness, I was sweating balls throughout the entire thing. Like I was so nervous. And the thing is, like up until that point, like I was practicing like legitimately 4 hours a day, every single day up until that point, because every single one of my friends was in band 3. I wanted to be in band 3. I did not
With
want to
the
be in the
cool
lower
kids.
end band for another like year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't want to be. And like I think like for some reason it's like the whole procrastination thing was like no, like that was the first time in my life where like I really wanted something. And like I put in so much work and I was just barely good enough. Like, oh my goodness. It was so stressful up until that point, right? And like I delayed my audition, I think like 5 times, just pushing it off, pushing it off, pushing it off, pushing it off.
That road be wild in right now.
Yeah.
That's the
always
quietest it's been
been.
all day.
I know. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I pushed that audition off like
Doesn't
5
surprise me.
times. Like Kenneth was having issues, man. He was mad.
Oh, Mr. Cleanhead ass.
Dude, calm down.
Oh,
I
come
don't
at him
like that man.
dude.
I do
Yeah.
not like that man.
So, you know, like what's
Like,
the,
That's why you hauled a chair piece.
what is a time where like you guys really wanted something and you worked for it?
I've got one.
Hit me with
Because
it.
I don't.
So you know, like, you guys know the situation, but for everyone listening in, the last 2 years of high school, that's when I got diagnosed with like depression and anxiety and ADHD, and like my life just took like a swan dive at that point. Like I wasn't fun to be around.
But what, it was like a like you know the Olympic swan dives, except it's like a one. It's not even a beautiful swan dive.
No.
The shit was like you were flopping in the air and like everything.
What team
Are
was
you
it? They
calling my
literally-
boy the ugly duckling?
No, what was that team that like that country that brought their
Is it
diving team?
Indonesia?
Was it Indonesia or was it like the Philippines?
You know, I don't know.
Who brought? They did not know how to dive, so they're belly flopping. That was me. I was.
It's like you try to do a flip, but instead you just end up spazzing in the air.
They like pencil dived in, yeah.
Oh man.
Instead of like, yeah. Anyways, so like, mental state, massive hit. Wasn't talking to anybody. Was holed up. Stopped really going to school. Like it was really bad.
Like you showed up like 3 days a month.
Yeah, like And
then there were the days where you'd show up but you didn't want to sign in because you didn't want to have to go to class.
Yeah.
yeah.
So you just sign in and talk to people in like the band room, and then they'd literally do like manhunts for you once they heard that you were there.
Yeah, it was really bad.
There was a whole like hide Micah initiative.
I enjoyed
Did we
it.
hide you in one of the cabinets?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then someone came and opened it and found me.
I feel like it was Allie, wasn't it?
No,
No, it was Allie because her lunchbox was in there.
Yeah, it was. It was.
You moved her lunchbox and she was so mad. She was like, "Oh, what did they put in this cabinet?" It was just Micah sitting there.
Those cabinets were actually pretty comfortable. But yeah, like almost like dealing with not having truancy, which is where you're not showing up enough and like authorities get involved. And that decreased my mental state. Was on wrong medications. Was missing so much school that I was anxious about missing school. But I was also anxious about what people were saying about me at school. So it was like that conflicting thing. But like it started to slowly get better. I started to like really fight for it because I knew like I have these goals in mind. Like I know what I want to do with my life. I like career-wise. I know like what I need to do to get there. So I'm going to force myself to get to that point. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get to that point. And so there was times where I would literally stay up. I'd have like months of homework that I would have to make up. I'd spend 16 hours straight just knocking all of it out. I'd be sitting there, sleep like 4 hours, and like I would force myself to at least show up at school for part of the day and sign in. And so like it was like those little baby steps, like, okay, I'm going to go for this amount of time, I'm gonna go this many days a week, and like pushing myself to be able to graduate and go to college and work towards what I've always wanted to do.
Yeah, I was put in a similar situation to where, but it wasn't like a. I was diagnosed with anxiety and stuff my senior year, but like, I know, like I grew up in a culture where it's just like, hey yo, you got a problem? Shitta, work through it. Like that, it's just that. Like if I don't work through it and I start complaining, I just get yelled at. Like that's just Asian culture. But like I forgot that I signed up for online calculus. So a week before, no, 2 weeks before grades were due, I got an email. I actually got a phone call. My mom got called. She's like, yeah, your son hasn't turned in any of the assignments. The class ends in 2 weeks, right? And then they contacted my university. They contacted the University of South Carolina that I got accepted into saying, yeah, he's about to fail calculus. I got an email saying, yo, if you fail this class, we're going to resend your admission, right?
Yeah.
Because if I resend that class, my unweighted GPA drops below a 2.5, which actually means that I don't technically I graduate because I have credits, but I don't graduate due to GPA technically.
Yeah.
I'm pretty
Can
sure
you graduate
Riverbluff
due
would
to
still.
GPA?
Yeah, you can graduate with
I
as
think
low
that's
GPA
really
as you can,
stupid.
as long as you pass the classes you need to pass. Because
I thought it was course requirement.
it is course requirement, but
Yeah,
yeah.
he was missing.
usually the university won't accept that you graduate unless it's a 2.5. But I knocked out all my course requirements freshman, sophomore year. Every class I took after that was because I wanted to, because I took advanced classes in middle school and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So this was a supplemental class. I didn't technically need it, but it was calc. It was AP Calc AB, right? Then I got 2 weeks to learn an entire year's worth of material. That was like legitimately one of the most stressful points in my life. I legitimately cried myself to sleep for the 2 hours a day I got sleep.
That's how I was with my English course that I took senior year. It was also online. I knew I had it, but I didn't do any of it. So I was sitting at like 2% completion with a week left before grades were due. I was literally spending 20 hours a day grinding that shit out, just boom, 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 boom.
Yeah, so I needed what? So this was pre.
I wrote, I think, 4 essays.
Yeah, so this
in
was
5 hours.
This is the year they also. Yeah, Micah. This was also the year that we swapped to 10-point center, right? So 60 was passing.
Yeah.
I think I got like a 61.
Oh my god.
And it was like, this is like, meaning you had to write like FRQs, everything. Like each one of those FRQs took 30 minutes, right? I had 34 FRQs to do. Because we were supposed to do 4 a week.
That's insane. Like on a weekly basis.
On online AP Calc?
And then I had, you
So
know, I
online
had
courses
I had like 15 or so, like 10 question quizzes. I had 4 30-question exams. Like I had to knock all this stuff out. Like I legitimately worked calculus every single day of the week. And like I wouldn't have got through that had it not been for Mahi. Mahi was taking the class as well, but she was taking it in person. Like Mahi was legitimately my personal tutor throughout that entire time. There's some points where she basically just sat down, like helped me through the FRQ to the point where I did almost no work. She just explained the whole thing to me, and I just wrote it down, like, Because like they made like we had to write down all our work, take a photo of it, and submit that. If our work wasn't there, it didn't count.
Yeah.
Like oh my, it was
That's
so
how
bad.
my math class was this last semester in college. It was a online asynchronous calc class.
I hate math, and I hate the math classes here at USC because like I hate college in general because like you're still competing against other students because like it matters for like job placement and stuff like that a little bit, like just a little bit, not a lot, but it still matters a little bit, especially for like scholarships and stuff like that, like intra organizational like scholarships and stuff like that for like Darla Moore and stuff like that. But where am I going with this? Oh yeah, in high school you're on a level playing field. College you're not at all. It's so professor based. Like,
oh my god, yeah.
I have two. Like I took a math.
Also
I took a
placement
stat
based.
206, right? I took stat 206 with a professor, and then I had another kid who was in my one of my classes who also took stat 206, a different class, right? His professor gave him a PDF to take home, right? You have the whole weekend to work on it. Just like submit it, right? I had an online like web portal that I had to take the exam through, had, like an hour time limit for 30 questions.
Yeah.
And then he gets to take home a PDF through the whole weekend, right? There's no webcam monitoring, none of that. I'm monitored through my webcam. All my audio is recorded. My screen is recorded. My how much time I take on each question, right? Like all that. And then for him, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
I was trying to make sure that wasn't me.
A quick PSA for anyone who's
wasn't.
listening who's going into college or
Rate My Professor.
Rate My Professor is a amazing
Saved my
website
life.
which will literally make or break your college career. Because
Yeah.
that's just how college is set up at this point. It's very professor based. You could have one of the nicest people, most lax people as your professor ever, or you could have the strictest person who will never answer back your emails, will never show up to their office hours, and fail you out of their class.
Dude, legit.
Like, if they have tenure at this point,
You just don't
they're
care?
smooth sailing. They're there for their own research.
Rate
They
My
don't
Pro-
care about you.
Rate My Professor is essentially how I had only 4 classes last semester because I found an English 102 professor literally the whole semester. We did like a mini assignment a week and we wrote 2 papers. There was no final. That was it. And in
What?
class, we just talked about politics and joked about, well, it was Trump, but, no, it wasn't. We just joked about politicians the whole time. That was it.
You also wanna-
There was no other assignments. Like, all of us got A's.
Also, going back to like college and how it's so drastically different, and like public school, majority of people can't really choose their classes. Like you can choose like electives.
We had the privilege of being able to choose.
We
our
had a
classes.
privilege.
Our
We're,
high school was fancy.
yeah,
I didn't realize how fancy our high school was until like I heard some of these other students talk about how the high school's like before college.
yeah. But when you get into college, even if you were like choosing your classes, like any of your courses in high school, everyone did them like basically the same day, right? And everything was put into the system at the same exact time. In college, depending on the amount of credit hours you have, depends on when you can choose your courses, and therefore depends on if you get good or bad professors. So you're kind of shooting the new students in the foot because, like, literally, first semester, freshman year of college, last group of people to sign up for courses, nothing's
I mean, like
available,
a little
really.
hack that you can do. If there's a new professor teaching that class, like a new like young professor,
You go for them.
you go for them. Like yes, it's a risk in the sense that
Nine
you don't
ti-
know what they do, but most of the time those professors are the
It's a
most approved.
calculated risk.
Those are the professors that care about their Rate My Professor grade.
Yeah.
because
They're not tenured.
Exactly. So like professors are aware of Rate My Professor, right? Like they know it exists. I had a professor say, "Hey, yo, give me a 5-star rating on Rate My Professor, and then if you take a photo of it, I'll raise your grade by like 5 points." Right?
Really?
Yeah.
I had a professor. We like took a day and just like
That's
read
just-
the comments. Like there was this one where this guy just wrote, "Yo, Mike's a baller. Take this class." He's like, "Yo."
Literally, some of the Rate My Professor comments are the funniest thing.
Oh,
like, I
God.
was looking through for my German advisor. He was also my professor my first semester. And they were like, hey, Morgan's a great dude.
You know what I wish they added on Rate My Professor?
You're talking about Kerner?
The ability,
Yeah, I
ability
love
for the college professors to reply to the reviews like Yelp.
Please.
Wait, is that-
that would be so
God.
Because
good.
there's some where like it's a 5-star professor, right? And then you have 2 or 3 students give them like 1 star, like, oh, this is the worst teacher. And I would love to see a clap back from that
I
teacher.
would love.
I wish you were required to list if you were a part of Greek life because some of them you can just tell.
Oh,
because
yeah.
like there's some reviews like they made me do assignment. Like they're all like
Oh, those ones get me
I had to read
There was homework every
chapter.
I read one and it literally said, this professor was one of the hardest ones I've ever had. They made me submit assignments when they wanted. It's like,
I love
aren't you
people
supposed to
like
do
that.
that for any course?
Yeah.
Like, yes, your stuff's due by like, normally it's like beginning of next class.
Yeah.
Your stuff is due.
Yeah.
If you don't have it, fuck
I
off.
I enjoy professors though who put priority on like life situations. Like if they realize, like I had a professor last semester that was like, basically I was just talking to him like, hey yo, I really don't want to do this right now. Like I just have so much crap going on. This is like when my dad had like the COVID scare and everything
Oh,
like
yeah,
that,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So I was just like, yo, I don't want to do this right now. Like I'll be honest, I'm just not in the right headspace. So he's like, yeah, I got you. Just like kind of put it off and turn it in when you can.
That's the best thing about college professors I've seen so far is like they care about you as a person.
I mean,
you
even
get-
more than your
when you get the good
like
ones.
they
When you
yeah,
get the good
that is true.
professors.
It can be very
Your
different.
voice down a little bit, bud.
Oh yeah, sorry. But like I know like I've had multiple where they said at the beginning of the semester like if you need anything or like you can't complete, just talk to me. Like just not doing it is the wrong answer. But if you say like
As long as you
All-
don't,
they said
you
they'd
don't
work with
say
you.
you don't do it like a day before.
yeah,
If you give them a heads up, they don't.
If
care.
it's more than 24 hours notice, normally if they're a good professor, they're like, understandable.
Yeah.
I had some professors who were up at like 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
Dude, that's Kerner for you. Like literally, I would. So I have, since I'm double majoring, I have two advisors. So I have my chemistry advisor and my German advisor. I sent both of those applications in with like at the same time, like boom, boom, like within like 15, 20 minutes of each other. Within 4 hours, I got a response back from my German professor being like, "Hey, I just saw that you applied for this major. I would love to be your advisor. If not, I understand. Yada yada yada."
Well, so you had a little bit of like, in with him because
Oh, I had
yeah,
a huge end.
Yeah, because at our high school, because we took a trip down to the college and like literally talked
Oh,
to him.
him and
like,
our
he-
high school
yeah.
German teacher are best friends.
Yeah, so
they're
like
good friends.
He knew who you were, which is I think
Also,
yeah.
my sister.
Yeah, yeah.
Will, like I know a lot of the German.
You have so many ties in with him, but like yeah, still, but
life
like
update.
even.
My sister dropped the major. She's minoring now in German.
Ooh.
Sorry, a little side tangent.
You're the
But,
favorite.
What's the
you're
point of
favorite child
minoring in a
now.
language again?
I can tell you, it depends on what you're doing.
Is it just for the sake of learning? I don't
Yeah,
think
I feel like so
I can tell you my personal reason if that helps.
yeah.
So with chemistry, like anything STEM related, normally like especially the environmental aspect of STEM related stuff, Germany is leading the world in that stuff.
Heart start after that sip.
Red Bull's gonna give you a heart attack, brother.
Red Bull give you wings.
Red Bull gotta give you wings. You better fly straight up.
So Germany is leading the world in all that stuff. So a lot of companies
Well,
like
Like
originating.
South Korea is leading the world. And South Korea, Japan.
It depends on the.
It depends on
environmental
the
topic,
subsection.
yeah.
So I'm
Oh,
talking
yeah,
about like
we-
environmental.
Oh yeah.
Which is probably where I'm gonna end up going.
Green Quad, Kang Gang.
Gang gang.
Even though
Yeah. No one cares. no one
Um,
cares that you live in Green Quad.
And statistically speaking, most of the time, if you speak another language, you're more likely to get a job. But with German, I think 6 times more likely to get a better paying job if you speak it. Because there's so many companies that are German founded.
Volkswagen.
Volkswagen, yeah.
BMW,
That's
Ba-
Volkswagen for you uncultured people.
Yeah.
BMW
I
is
don't know if you could tell
BMW.
by his accent.
Volkswagen,
But
BMW.
there's so many German companies that are in America. Like they're based in Germany, but they have a lot of like factories, everything else like stationed in America. So you'll have a lot of like you'll send someone over there to go check out things, and those people are normally getting paid more money because they speak that language. They're a more valuable asset. So that's why I'm personally doing it, and that's why a lot of other people do it because it increases your odds. It gets you out there more. It looks great on a resume.
Damn, why did I stop speaking German?
Lidl out here provide.
So
Yeah.
true, dude.
Yeah, that's pretty much it.
But-
really like helps
Dude,
out so much.
I got really torn on whether I actually wanted to minor in Chinese because I did it for like I was 7 years. I did Chinese for 7 years.
7 years, yeah.
Right? I don't know shit.
I did French for 10. I don't remember anything.
Well, honestly, so
I remember some.
But so
I've-
we had to do like AP exams, right? I had like a 2. Right?
Yeah.
Like Kiana got the same grade as me, so I feel pretty good.
Yeah.
But
Kiana was the valedictorian in our class.
yeah, dude, like
For everyone.
She shaved
I
her
think
head.
our Chinese
did?
teacher, our Chinese
Heard.
teacher thought we knew more than we did. Like 90% of the assignments, like I kid you not, we looked it up on Google Translate and then we memorized it and then presented it to her. I didn't do any of it.
I have a funny.
I didn't do any of the work for
I
that
have a
class.
funny French story relating to that. So, you can probably relate to this. With being such a high procrastinator, you find the easiest ways out to
Yeah,
get
yeah,
the
that's
best results. Like you will literally makeshift any way around something if it's the most efficient, least amount of energy, and gets done on time. So me and our friend Michael, not Miggy, Maxwell, we were freshman year of high school. We were in French class. Our French
I think you
teacher
told me about that.
loved us. We had no curriculum for that course because we were the immersion kids. So she was like, "Oh, you guys get to study what you want." So me and Michael, we would sit there play games, crack jokes with the French teacher. She'd feed us plantain chips. I love that woman. She is such a wonderful woman. She called us her little white boys.
Wait, was this
Madam Page.
Yeah, Madam Faze.
Wonderful woman.
I'm gonna raise your hand.
I'm so sorry. I have to pee so bad. How do I turn this off?
Holy. Yo, I'm right there with y'all.
Hello.
Oh, I turned it off. You're good. Don't just keep it on you.
I gotta go too. I gotta leave.
Oh, you gotta go too.
Oh, he does.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt podcast.
He
No,
he got the GF, dude.
That's so true.
You seeing other people on the
You just
side, huh?
push the button, pull it out.
Push the button.
Here, I got you. I got you, honey. Why were you unscrewing that? Why were you unscrewing?
Like wanted to.
He started unscrewing
Yo,
the XLR.
We're about to break our mics, bro.
Oh my goodness.
Damn, do I gotta get out of my chair for this?
I think that's a good spot to end the podcast. Though we talked a lot.
So sorry, everybody.
Nah,
No, we're good. Honestly, we needed to end it.
Yeah.
The inaugural episode, not bad. Because Quinn runs off to the bathroom. Running, dude.
Anyways, guys, thanks for tuning in to the
Yeah.
inaugural podcast.
We're sorry if it was a little scuffed though.
Yeah.
More
Honestly.
will come.
More will
Yeah.
definitely come.
We'll
Quality
clean
will
up.
improve.
We'll clean up our act a little bit.
We're trying to
Hopefully,
figure
Red Bull
everything
decides
out.
to sponsor us, and then we can,
Yeah.
actually say sponsored, presented by Red Bull, even though it's not.
We
Hashtag
already
not sponsored.
We already
ad, not
have their
ad, but-
cooler. Like
So true. We have a full cooler right there.
all we need is the paperwork.
Dude, he booked it to
and the
bathroom.
paycheck.
He,
Oh, that's true.
can we talk about that? He went zooming.
He ran. Like
Yo, we gotta
Like,
zoom
I don't,
on
I
that
don't
man
know.
the
If,
Olympics,
I don't know
bro.
if any of the cameras saw it, but like he
would
literally
have been that one.
took it off, went down like Olympic pose, and booked it straight to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Grab the wall as a boost off. Like
If he was in the
Yeah.
Olympics, we
Speaking
wouldn't have been out medaled.
Speaking of booking things, I think this one's for the books.
yeah.
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 Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Thanks for watching, guys.